Day. How are y'all doing today? Happy Wednesday. We almost there, y'all. We are almost there. What's up, happy y'all? Did you catch my latest premiere, my doctoral update? 3 years in, y'all. I am 3 years in, almost there to the finish line. For my degree, it typically takes people about 3 to 4 years. That's like the minimum. So I'm almost there. I was just thinking, like, before I hopped on here, like, I'm ideally probably about 2 to 3 semesters away. So summer, fall, spring. I'm about 3 semesters away, y'all. So that's basically like, the spring would put me at next year. The spring would put me at April, would be like graduation, or May, I think. And the spring would put me, or the fall would put me in December. So of course I want the fall. Oh Lord, I want the fall. But I don't know. We'll see how things go. One thing I've been reminding myself is to not rush it. You know, good things take time, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, I decided it was time for me to give a doctoral update. It had been a while since I gave my last one. And I'll try to get better about doing my doctoral updates monthly. But what really got me to thinking, about this for this week's video was because I just turned in my literature review. So I turned in my literature review on Sunday at like 5 o'clock, y'all. When I tell you I was working on that thing, I worked on it for a week. So literally 7 days from Sunday to Sunday. That was a deadline I gave myself. So where I am now in my doctoral journey is that I run the process. You know, it's not like you're like enrolled in a course and you have classes and you got to, turn this in at this time. You know, it's not like that. You know, you turn it in when you want to turn it in, which is, I think, what trips most people up. So I would say that's probably like the hardest for me. um well, I'm a pretty scheduled person, but when you are tired after work, when you just drain, the last thing you want to do is open up a laptop, and read something or type something, Lord. The last thing you want to do. So I think for me, that's been something that's kind of hard. So I've given myself a personal deadline that, my chair has already told me it'll probably take him, at least 2 weeks to go over things and provide edits. So I've told myself that, once I get it returned to me, that within 1 week, I will return it to him. So he gave that to me like 2 Thursdays ago, and I turned it in this past Sunday. So it was like a week and a half, because I actually kind of had to write it from scratch. And I talk about that in a video. So I'm writing my literature review, and I had to, kind of write it from scratch because the literature review that I wrote last year, when I was actually enrolled in the course literally a year ago, I was toying with the topic, but I'm not, utilizing that topic. So I was like, it's not like, I could turn in something pre-made. And in the video, I really talk about some tips to help the peoples, and you can really apply this. If you're in a doctoral program, you can apply this, but you can also apply this if you are, just in school, period, and you have assignments, that you are kind of working towards throughout the semester. Those end of semester projects that you're supposed to start like week 2, 3, but don't nobody start till like 2 weeks before it's due, or maybe a week. So you can like use these same steps to apply them, y'all. I know for me, like, I understand how hard it is to just really like kick yourself in the butt sometimes and say, hey, get to work, because yeah, it's been very hard for me like these past few weeks. But I was like, you know what? I am going to set a goal and I am going to do what I need to do. And I was so proud of myself last week. I was thanking God every day, like, oh my gosh, I met my goal today of writing. And I literally every single day, child, the first day I was already about thrown off because I wanted to utilize my work laptop because it has like some of the programs and things on there. And I just like that laptop better. It just reminds you of work, so you get in that work mode. But I left it at work, and I was already like, maybe I'll start on Tuesday. But I was like, no, ma'am, you have a laptop, sis. log in and get to writing. So, those little things that, you would just use as an excuse, kind of like going to the gym, like, it's raining. Like, girl, it ain't raining inside, or it's a little too cold. Like, it's not cold inside. So, just those little excuses that we kind of run into, those are the things that will really stop you. And then this is for any goal, that will really stop you from reaching any goal. So, I really pushed myself to, last week I definitely pushed myself to, okay, you got to do this. And I have a bedtime. Listen, your girl is not staying up all night, all day. No, man, I'm not a night owl by any means. Except for like on the weekends and things like that. But during the week, I have a succinct bedtime. So, I even told myself, okay, you will most likely have to push your bedtime just back in just 1 hour so that you can do what needs to be done. And I will say, y'all, I did not have to do that at all, because I really, I went in and I did what needed to be done. So I talk about that, in the video. My main tips for students in general, y'all: create a schedule. As cliche as that is, like, you got to get on a schedule. I actually was just watching a webinar about just making your own personal brand, and I saw somebody in the comments and they were like, well, how can I do that? I'm so busy. You gotta get on the schedule. Like anything, for me personally, with anything, a schedule wins. I remember that as a teacher. So I was a teacher for about 5 years, and I worked in special education. So I worked with students with disabilities, and I work with students with disabilities. I'm on the more severe side at times. And one thing I learned was the schedule is key. I remember one of my students, he didn't communicate verbally, but he could, use his hands. He was starting to learn sign language, and he had got an iPad, and we were going to start, utilizing the functions on that for him to communicate. And I remember, getting my kids in a schedule. It's just like the schedule ran itself. I could just sit at my desk and watch them. I remember they hear my timer, they go from center to center. And so I apply those things, for my own self. To listen, put that timer on. You need to write until this thing goes out. And, it works. So with anything, a schedule is key, whether that's you, trying to just create time to do something for yourself after work, to build a side hustle. You got to keep it on the schedule. Maybe, at from 6 to 7 or 6 to 8, you're writing or you're doing your homework or you're working on that business, but a schedule is key. So my personal schedule was, I blocked an hour out. So I was like, okay, I need to be writing for at least an hour every day, because that's typically what it takes me. It depends. So I can, write a page in about an hour. I like to write actually, but I'm not like a quick writer. Like, listen, I got to think about stuff. I got to reread stuff. I got to make sure it sound good, things like that. But yeah, for me, so I was like, okay, the hour is key. And then I also said, not only am I going to, set aside that hour a day, your girl is going to write a certain amount. So that's a thing too. Because, listen, I know I ain't the only one. You don't wrote like a paragraph and it's like, oh, child, that's enough. Like, no, it's not, sis or sir. So for me personally, I started, I needed at least 500 words. And I got that from a course that I had taken previously. It actually was an American Community College course. I liked the course because I work at a community college part-time. And so I learned a lot just about community colleges. But what I liked that she did was, for any assignment, you had to write at least 500 words. And one thing I learned was that when I would double space it, I'm like, oh, 500 words is a page. Like, I don't know why that just dawned on me then. But I was like, okay, I'm going to take this with me. So once I start, writing my dissertation and stuff, I am going to write at least, 500 words. And that's what I did last week. So every day, I started on Sunday, from Sunday to Sunday, I wrote at least 500 words. And of course, when you shooting for that, when that's the minimum, you most likely gonna go over it. So I would definitely go over, because you want to finish your thoughts, your paragraph, or whatever. and I would write 500 words on the topic that I was writing on. So of course your literature review is broken down into different, topics. And so whatever topic I was on, I wrote at least 500 words for it. And when I tell you that is something that helped me, and I remember I was just writing last week, and I was like, oh my gosh, I only got, like 5 pages, 6 pages. And then it dawned on me, like, sis, you haven't even double spaced. I was like, ooh, Shondo. Like, listen, the Spirit of the Lord hit me with that right here. I was like, oh my gosh. Like sometimes you just get in just that mode of work and you forget, the little things. So by the time at the end of the week, by the time I double spaced it, y'all, I turned in 16 pages. I was like, oh yes, ma'am. So, they always say, shoot for the stars and you will end up in the sky, or however it go. Y'all know what I'm talking about. So shoot for something so that you can land them up something even bigger. So when you're writing, write at least 500 words. And then for me, 500 words, is doable. So, when you working all day, you got all this stuff you got to do. 500 words is doable. Like, it's something that's so, it's not as hard as you think. Because really, by the time done got your thoughts out, or, 2 paragraphs, succinct paragraphs, sometimes more than that, it's gonna be 500 words. So that was one thing that was really doable for me. Some people may increase it to, maybe they want to write 1,000 words a day. Listen, that's a little too much for me. If it was, if I wasn't working or something like that, most definitely. But I'm like, for the working person, for the person who, just has a lot of responsibilities, like a mom, a dad, business owner, someone like that, 500 words, okay? Don't try to knock yourself out. Start small, because like I said, I was writing 500 words, but I will always go over, and that's what really helped my page count. So I turned that thing in. He responded and said he got it. He was out of town. He read it once he got back. So, and I know this probably is gonna take him like at least 2 weeks, because it was pretty long. So I'm just like, oh my gosh, fingers crossed in Jesus' name. Please don't let it, I hope I don't have a whole lot of edits, but I'm just like, the hardest part literally is getting something on paper. Like, that is the hardest part. Like, oh my gosh, that is literally the hardest part. Is just, it's kind of like my gym analogy. Like, just going to the gym is the hardest part. But once you get there, you're good. And when you leave, you feel so much better. But the hardest part, especially when you're starting from scratch, oh, Lord, you just be like, really, Lord? I ain't gonna act like I ain't stared at the computer for, several minutes on end. But I know for me, once I start to see those pages, coming together, I'm like, okay, it gives me some momentum. And I felt good after I turned it in. And listen, I'm like, that one meme of Beyonce, and it's like her pressing send on like a cell phone, and like the caption is like, me turning in my paper that sucks, but I'm done. Like, that's my paper didn't suck, but I did feel like, hoops, and it is what it is. He got to make edits anyway, so he'll tell me what to fix and he'll tell me what to add. So that's where I am now in my doctoral journey, y'all. I hope to get them back soon and do my edits, and hopefully it won't take me, too long to edit it. Like I said, I like to turn it around in at least 1 week. And then and then once that gets, squared away, your girl is going to be on to chapter 3. And then I'm going to be able to just do a oral, I guess, like pre-defense. And then we in the study stage, the research stage. So that's where I am, y'all. I'm excited. I'm happy, because it's just like you wake up and it's like, wow, 3 years went by. Like, I started this when COVID, was COVID for real. And that's where I started it. And it was, school was different, the world was different. I feel like we're trying to get back to where we were, but of course we're not quite there yet. So I'm just as I think about it and where I actually started out, my first semester I took 3 courses. That was a lot. And then after that, ever since then, I've always taken at least 2 courses, at least 2. And that was something that was important for me because I'm like, listen, I ain't trying to be here all day. I want to do it. I want to collect my things and call it a day, okay? So, of course, everybody's race is different. I always recommend take what you can afford. And at that time, that was before the scholarship stuff happened. I could only afford 2 courses. So, um, it is what it is. I'm happy, to be where I am. I actually got a comment from somebody today, and they were like, this is so inspiring. I definitely love hearing your story. So thank y'all for y'all support. And if you haven't, be sure to follow me on Facebook. You can follow my personal profile at Alexis Dugan. You can also follow Miss Dugan on Facebook and Instagram as well. I think I may open up my personal Instagram. I just haven't yet. It's always been private, but I may open that up for the folks because y'all be supporting me. Y'all be dropping me comments. Y'all are sending just motivating messages within my DM. So I greatly appreciate all that. So I'm going to probably open it up for the folks. Um, I'll also be dropping another video this Friday, y'all. So I'm excited about that. I ain't going to tell you what it's on yet, but yes. I be on the lookout for that this Friday. So that means I'll probably go live on Friday as well. And yeah, y'all, that's where we are. If you a student, I definitely want to know, what are your experiences? How long have you been in your program? Oh, and I feel like I always forget to mention this, but I am getting a doctorate degree in higher education. So I'm actually getting an EDD, so an educational doctorate, which just aligns with the things that I like to do. All of my degrees are education based, actually, so it's kind of just like the final kahuna, the bow on the present, for me to just tie it up. When I tell you this is my last degree, listen, this I may do a cute little certificate or something like that, but and that'll be a while before I do that. But yeah, this is my last degree. I'm like, whoo. Now I feel like I really feel it, as far as, okay, this is the hard part. Like, this is the hard part, making yourself stick to a schedule when you really don't have to, you know. Even though you enroll in your dissertation hours and things like that, listen, there's plenty of people who enroll in those dissertation hours, paying money and everything, and they ain't did nothing in the last 2 semesters. So I'm just like, I definitely don't want to be like that. But I understand. Listen, I understand. I can see how it would happen. Life be lifing. And people, they just get distracted, and just to drum up the motivation to do it is hard. So I know for me personally, I was like, listen, if I can do it in less than 4 years, because when you've already done a 4-year degree, and them 4 years was long. I don't know about y'all, but the undergrad was a good time, but it was a long time. And I'm just like, Lord, another 4 years just sounds like so treacherous, but I'm literally year 3. We almost there. August 2024 will be the official 4 years. So I guess my words of advice is keep going to all my students, and whatever degree you get. If you're getting an associate's, if you're getting a technical certificate, keep going. Don't give up. It's supposed to be hard. It wouldn't be worth it if it wasn't hard. You wouldn't even appreciate it if it wasn't hard. So it's supposed to be hard, but keep going. Keep doing whatever it is that you need to do. Get the resources that you need to get, in order to have the best experience, and keep going. So that's my advice for all my students, especially right now. Listen, especially right now at this point in the semester, I know it's spring break at my university, but ooh, child, after spring break, you just be like, can we just get to the end already? I know that feeling. It's kind of like, that holiday season in the fall, once November hits, you be like, I'm ready to be done. So I definitely understand, especially at that point in a semester where it's just like, Jesus, you're going to have to do it, because if you don't, it just ain't going to get done. So I definitely understand that, but keep going. Whatever you are supposed to do, whatever you're supposed to be working on, listen, crack it open. It's time. It'll be worth it, at the end. So that's where I am, y'all. If you haven't, be sure to subscribe to my email list. I'm going to be sending out something soon here. That is always in the description box of my videos. Also, support your girl. There's also a link to support the cause as well, so that I can further my work with my lovely followers. Shout out to y'all. Listen, we are over 1,400. I just hit 1,400. I think it was Sunday. And when I tell you we already surpassed that, like we'll be at 1,500 soon. So I thank y'all so much for y'all support, especially the love that y'all show my shorts. Because that's something that I recently started. But y'all show my short, y'all show up and show out over there. Comments, likes. I definitely appreciate y'all support. I could not do it without y'all. Y'all making my YouTube dreams come true. So I am so excited. That's why I want to make sure, I'm giving you the content that you need. So if there's something that you want to know more about, whether it's about education, whether it's about money, I've been talking about my alopecia lately. What do you want to know about? Drop down in the comments and let me know, because I want to, make sure that I'm serving the peoples. I want to make sure that you are enjoying yourself on my channel and you're learning. Your girl will always be an educator at heart. So I definitely enjoy talking about things, especially just our educational based things. So y'all drop down in the comments and let me know, what do you want to hear about this month? Y'all, this month is already, about to be over. But what do you want to hear about this month? Drop down in the comments and let me know. And I am about to head out. I'm going to see y'all over at my shorts, all right? Bye.